There it is, ladies and gentlemen. We just heard everything we need to hear to be even more excited about how this season could potentially unfold for the Dallas Cowboys. Trades are on the horizon. And I'm going to talk to you about not only some trades that make sense, but names that likely will be moving. And we're going to dive into the numbers of those players. Let's get right into it. It's Jerry. Jerry set the Cowboys open for business, y'all. Let's get it. Shut your up. All right, be sure to subscribe for more breaking Cowboys news each and every single day. We got Patrick Walker. He said, on any possible trades, Jerry Jones said, quote, I think we're continually looking. And yes, we will look to improve our team if we get the opportunity to. Jerry Jones to 105.3 The Fan. He said he notes as midseason approaches, some teams whose seasons are floundering will start softening up for trades, planning for their future, and that's when things can happen. The trade deadline is November 4th, ladies and gentlemen, which means the Cowboys likely will probably start getting active that last week or so. And I think that would be the perfect time for the Cowboys if they're going to decide to do anything, that the timeline actually matches up perfectly. Because if you look at the Cowboys schedule right here, the Cowboys are currently sitting at 2-2-1. Remember, they have the Panthers this upcoming Sunday. After that, they have the Commanders. After that, they have the Broncos on the 26th. And then after that, they have the Cardinals the day before the trade deadline. 4 very winnable games, if I'm being completely honest. The Commanders game may end up being kind of like a 50-50 thing as far as how people feel about it. Broncos, same thing. The Cowboys have not traditionally played well against the Broncos, so that'll be them trying to get a bugaboo off their back. Those are 4 very winnable games right there, and the Cowboys could potentially be looking at a record somewhere around 6-2-1 by the time that trade deadline is approaching. And at that point, I think the Cowboys are going to feel like, hey, we're right here for that thing. We're right here for the taking. If we make a couple of moves, we could possibly do something this season. With that being said, who are some of the guys that are realistically going to be available around that time? Now, keep in mind, y'all, we're still a month away. A lot of stuff can happen in the next 4 games for a lot of these teams. So some of these players that may look to be available may not be as available. The Bengals seem like they're still trying to hold on right now to this season. They went and traded for Joe Flacco, trying to, I guess, I don't know, save whatever's left of this season after Joe Burrow went down. But some of these players, I really think the Cowboys have a good shot at. And a couple of them, I think the fans and you guys watching, y'all are going to absolutely love these. The first one I'm going to discuss is the Browns cornerback, Greg Newsome II. The reason I am bringing up Greg Newsome II, remember, he is a former first-round draft pick, late first-round draft pick in 2021 by Cleveland. It's the prototype for the Cowboys and what they like to get from these other teams. And in addition to that, he's someone that the Browns have already tried to trade as recently as this past offseason, or at least discussions were being made around Greg Newsome. Now, the reason I like Greg Newsome, he's an outside boundary corner. He's played within a very high-performing defense. Even if he hasn't been necessarily the driving force behind that, he's played within a defensive structure that has been successful, which lets me know he understands the importance of playing good team defense, right, and how everything kind of connects with each other. But real quick, the Browns made a noteworthy trade Tuesday when they sent quarterback Joe Flacco in a 6th-round pick to division rival Bengals for a 5th-rounder. With the November 4th trade deadline nearing, the Browns may not be done shipping out players. Cornerback Greg Newsome and tight end David Njoku, and this is from Pro Football Rumors, are among the names to watch leading up to the deadline, according to a reporter with Fox Sports. Newsome has been a career-long Brown since they selected him 26 overall in 2021 draft. Career-long is crazy. He's on his rookie contract. He has since started in 47 of 59 games, including all 5 this year, and totaled 3 interceptions over his career. Newsome came up in trade rumors multiple times during the offseason. A deal never came together, though, and the former first-round cornerback made it clear in August that he wanted to remain a Brown for the rest of his career. The team then lost Martin Emerson for the season, giving Newsome more role stability. Emerson has played 95% of Cleveland's defensive snaps through 5 games. Now, Newsome says he's wanting to stay in Cleveland, but based off the fact that he is due to be an unrestricted free agent next season because he's currently playing on his 5th-year option, the Browns are in a situation where they may want to start looking at kind of rebuilding some of these pieces, kind of, I guess, refreshing what they have. And they're not extremely high on a guy like a Greg Newsome. And it's not like he's their top corner or anything. Remember, they got a guy on the other side that's pretty damn good. So it's not like he's their top corner. And then you have to ask yourself the questions. They just paid Myles Garrett. They have a guy named Denzel Ward over there as well. So they already have two very highly paid defensive players on that side of the ball. Is Cleveland the type of team that's going to pay their top two corners? And Greg Newsome has been a little bit disgruntled. You can see it says in February, Newsome expressed frustration with his rotational role and will likely be pushing to regain his starting job in training camp. Here's the thing, Greg Newsome, if you came to the Cowboys, if you were part of the Cowboys, you would probably be the replacement for someone like a Trevon Diggs. I think we all see now that he's kind of cooked, athletically speaking. I think Trevon Diggs is not going to ever be the same again. So I think he would come in as a replacement for Trevon Diggs. So the money thing isn't an issue because Diggs is already getting paid more money than he's worth right now at this point in his career. But again, Greg Newsome coming in, that would be a really, really big boon. His contract and money that he would probably garner, which is probably somewhere around $10 million per season, based off of his productivity as a corner so far. He's not going to get a crazy contract, y'all. But he has, again, been a part of a really good defense and played around some really good players and understands how to play really good team defense and has had a really good defensive coordinator for the past few seasons, right? So you could get him in at a cheaper rate, kind of almost like a discounted rate than a Trevon Diggs. Move off of Trevon Diggs. He'll even send Diggs back to Cleveland if you want to, man. Move off of Trevon Diggs. Move Bland back to the slot, and now you have Savon Revel on the outside, Greg Newsome on the other outside corner, and Deron Bland in the nickel position, back where he's more comfortable. Which, again, I just feel like the nickel spot is just Deron Bland's best position. I think that's his most natural role and his most natural position. I think that's where he looks his best, right? So at that point, you got Newsome, Revel, Bland, right? Move on from Trevon Diggs. You got guys like Josh Butler, Kalen Carson, all them boys backing up those dudes, right? So your corner room looks a little bit better right there, and that's a move that wouldn't necessarily break the bank. The next player I'm going to talk about as it pertains to guys that the Cowboys could potentially be interested in is NFL teams, and this is from NFL.com. So this is actually very, very interesting. But NFL teams are monitoring Seahawks cornerback Tariq Woolen as a potential trade target. And I think the Cowboys, if they are smart, they should be doing the very, very same thing. Apparently, according to this article, it says NFL teams plan to keep an eye on Pro Bowl cornerback potentially becoming available in Seattle. Clubs are monitoring Seahawks cornerback Tariq Woolen as a possible trade target by the deadline, which this year falls on November 4th. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissero, and Mike Garofalo reported Sunday. So this is from all the big dogs in the reporting industry, which means he's definitely on that block, man. Seattle's looking to make some moves. Rappaport added that Woolen's playing time should decrease now that Devon Witherspoon, who returned from a 2-game absence for Thursday's night's 23-20 win over the Cardinals, is healthy, and other organizations believe the fourth-year corner could be attainable in the final year of his rookie deal. And side note, Tariq Woolen, he's a local guy. He's actually from Fort Worth, I believe, which is like right down the street from AT&T Stadium, man. So I think that this would be a natural fit for the Cowboys. Outside boundary corner, excellent traits, excellent productivity in the NFL thus far. He would be a little bit more expensive, but again, that contract you could get off of with Diggs, I think Woolen would just essentially replace that contract somewhere at about 18, maybe 16, $17 million per season. I think you get two of those second apron type of corners on your roster as far as how you're paying those guys. I think you'll be fine, and you just kind of make everything else work from there. But Tariq Woolen, very, very interesting option to me. They say Woolen stormed onto the NFL stage in 2022 as a fifth-round pick, reaching the Pro Bowl and tying for the NFL lead with 6 interceptions. He's been a notable contributor in Seattle's secondary since then, but he struggled in the first quarter of this season. After giving up 2 massive plays in Week 1 during the 49ers game-winning pull-ahead drive, a 45-yard completion to Ricky Parasol and a touchdown to Jake Tongs, Woolen faced questions about his starting role. He hasn't made amends since then. His 40.4 overall defensive PFF grade ranks 151st out of 158 cornerbacks, and his 40.1 coverage grade sits 140th heading into Week 4's Sunday slate. Now, I'm going to say this about PFF, man. If y'all actually go do some research about the people that they have and they have hired to actually do these grades, bro, it's a bunch of low 20s, early 20s, college intern, nerdy dudes, barely ever touched the field, have never actually played football looking guys, bro. I'm going to tell you that right now. So I don't care about no damn PFF grades. But if anybody does care about it, this is only good for us because that's going to lower his value that it's going to take to actually pull him away from the Seahawks. Wouldn't take one of those first-round picks or anything. Probably maybe a third. Maybe a third could get Tariq Woolen to Dallas, especially considering you have to pay him next season. So, again, Cowboys have the second most cap space in the league. Not worried about no money we got to pay any of these guys, especially if they're not top of their position type players. They're going to be fine after paying one of these type of second apron, third apron type guys. Tariq Woolen, man, I think that this right here, this is a money move. I think you make this type of move if you're really trying to win a Super Bowl this season. You go get a Tariq Woolen, put him in his system. Then you have Tariq Woolen and Savon Revel on the outside. You have DaRon Bland in that nickel position and Trevon Diggs, man. Sayonara, sucker. Now, I'm just playing. But for real, though, Trevon Diggs can stick around for this season, but that would essentially be the swan song for Trevon Diggs in Dallas to me. So now you have really good depth. Tariq Woolen, Trevon Diggs, DaRon Bland, Savon Revel, Josh Butler, Kalen Carson when he gets back. Kyer Elam is still here, and hopefully he gets a little bit better as the season progresses. You have really good depth in that corner room. You have a bona fide potential star, budding star, on the outside corner. Then you have DaRon Bland already as your nickel. And then you can have Trevon just kind of hit the dusty trail at the end of the season. Cut him. And remember, he is owed no more guaranteed money. So you can absolutely cut bait with Trevon Diggs and not be concerned about it. So I think Tariq Woolen is probably my favorite trade candidate for the Dallas Cowboys this trade season. And I really, really hope that they take a look at it. But as it pertains to a trade candidate that other people in the NFL are now linking the Dallas Cowboys to. Remember, the last time this happens was with George Pickens, but now people are saying that the Cowboys are one of the hot names to be looked at if the Cincinnati Bengals do go into fire sale mode, which they should. And a lot of NFL executives feel like Trey Hendrickson is going to be moved based off of this article. I'm not going to go ahead and get into this article because it's really not saying much that I can't tell y'all myself. A lot of NFL executives feel like Trey Hendrickson is going to be the piece that moves. And one rival AFC executive told Between the Hash Marks that the Cowboys could be, quote, a team to watch if the Bengals move off of Trey Hendrickson. I'm going to say this right now. I think everybody and their grandmama would love Trey Hendrickson in Dallas. He has 4 sacks so far on the season, about half a sack more than our own guy, James Houston. But he is literally the Bengals' entire defense right now. He's responsible for 27.5% of the Bengals' pressures and 40% of their total sacks this season. So Trey Hendrickson is everything for the Bengals, and them trading him would essentially them be officially punting the season. So hopefully this Joe Flacco move doesn't work for them over the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'm just being honest. Hopefully it's terrible for them and they continue to lose and they have to go ahead and say, hey, let's go ahead and move off of Trey. And I think the Cowboys are probably one of the most prominent names that's thrown into those trade talks as it pertains for someone like a Trey Hendrickson. And he could be exactly what the doctor ordered, but honestly, at this point, and kind of seeing how Donovan Ezaraku and Jadeveon Clowney has played well, and some of these other guys are starting to come on, at this point, while I would still love some help off that edge, maybe a Bradley Chubb type from the Miami Dolphins. I think they're going to be in fire sale mode soon as well. I would love to get a Tariq Woolen. So if I had to pick one of these moves that I think the Cowboys should absolutely make, I'm going Tariq Woolen all day, every day, 10 times a week. I'm just saying, 10 out of 10 times a week. But either way, all these to me are winning options for the Cowboys and realistic options for the Cowboys. That's the biggest thing. Let me know down in the comments below which one of these 3 players would you like the most, and if you've heard any actual real trade rumors that you want me to look into and make some content on for you, I will definitely do that if you let me know down in the comments below and enough people leave a like on it. But either way, till next time, Cowboys, love you guys, and I'll see you.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boys? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Shut up, my boy. Hey! I'm still them boys.